break down what autonomous car means?
Autonomous car is a driverless car or a driver with a robot.
And the idea is that the one car will talk to the other one so they don't crash
the
into
whole
each
highway.
other?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I envision is you'll probably start seeing special lanes to get into the autonomous lane. That's just a prediction, but
and all the gas guzzlers like Felipe over in the far left.
They had him driving around in Atlanta when I was there.
Oh, really?
There was like nobody in the car.
What's up, Sarasota? We're back with episode 118 of the Sarasota SpeaX Podcast. As always, I'm Felipe Colon.
Trey Martell.
And Mike Whalen.
Thanks, Mike, for filling in for Brad. We've got an amazing guest today, Mark Peterson, the Sarasota branch manager of Daisy.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Well, let's get right into it. What is Daisy and what do you do?
Well, Daisy's tagline is the curator of technology for modern living. So what we essentially do is manage the technology for our customers, present them with solutions to fit their budgets and needs. Some of the things that we do is lighting control, audio, video. The new services are streaming media. Not a lot of folks out there have acclimated themselves with it, so we'll get those things hooked up, get you trained, get you converted from the old cable box to the new services. Some of the more cooler stuff is lighting control. Lighting is changing, and it's changing for the good. No longer do you have your switches that go on and off in a single fluorescent color, but now there's a multitude of what they call tunable whites. A lot of folks in the morning time and the evening time like the soft and the yellow and the reds light. But as we go through the day, our natural circadian rhythm wants bodies demand more of the blue or the whiter light. So we can develop systems within the house to replicate that circadian rhythm. So you're more comfortable, you feel better, there's health benefits so that is one of the technologies that are coming up that can change.
Just to be clear, your customers is it all residential, commercial, a mix?
No, it's about a 50-50.
Okay.
Right now. Diversified, yeah. Absolutely. Our bread and butter is the luxury residential market. This is where the folks can afford some of the technologies that may not be within the budgets of some others, but that doesn't mean that we can't deliver solutions for their needs. It's just that we work with them and we interview them, we get to know them a little bit better, and then at the end of the whole process, we present them with, hey, this is what we think that you need for your home within your budget. And it's a process. So from inception,
that makes sense. Usually with high tech, right? The people on the vanguard of it are usually the people that have the budgets to do the cutting edge stuff.
Absolutely.
Right. And then eventually, ideally, that trickles down into almost all of our homes, so we can all benefit.
Yeah, we have a saying we call right sizing.
Okay.
Meaning that after we get to know you, we understand where you are. Now, we classify users in 3 different types. The minimalist who said, hey, I just want to turn on the TV. But let's face it, turning on your TV nowadays is no easy task. So you may need something like a universal remote. But at the higher end, we have the power users that want to be in control. A button for everything, their life automated. You pull up to the house, the lights go on, the gates open, let the dog out, whatever that might incur that customer might need. So our job is to understand you as a customer, what really will you benefit from and what you'd be happy with.
You mentioned automating letting the dog out. Can you explain?
Well, let's just say that we do custom work, and we sometimes, I'm trying to think of one of the more custom jobs that we did. Okay. We had a fellow that had a piece of art, and he wanted to have his TV behind it, but he wanted to be able to pull it into his wall and move it up and replace it with a TV. Now, at the time we did that, there were no mounts for that. So we had to actually work with someone to custom make a particular mount to do that. So that's kind of something unique and special. You don't really get it off the market. So I was getting a little facetious when I say let the dog out. I have not let the dog out yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's someone out there with
one time
a motorized door and wants to know when he gets home, let the dog out.
For the right customer.
Who let the dog out? Daisy.
No, but that technology exists. They have people with these chicken coops, right? They want to let the chickens out at the beginning of the day. You press a button on your phone and, let the chickens out.
Absolutely.
So, not dogs, but still.
So what separates Daisy from like other automation companies?
Well, the first thing is a mid-sized company with a corporate background. So that was one of the things that attracted me to Daisy, is that in order really to be successful and to grow to the next level, you need all kinds of things. You need marketing, you need a robust back-end system to track your clients, to build sales pipelines, to be able to do trouble ticketing, as well as marketing. So, hiring a graphics artist, having them in there to do your design work, do your marketing events, and all that costs money. And to try to build that yourself, not only is the headaches, but the money involved. So a quick way to be able to take the resources of a corporate entity and couple it with a smaller company as myself really is a powerful combination. Now, beyond that, they provide training, they provide HR resources, coaching, from Wall Street professionals, business management plans, 24/7, 365 support. I mean, right now, a lot of AV companies, and us included, would sit there and wait for the phone to ring on a Saturday afternoon. Hey, we've got a problem. And of course, we're customer focused, and we would usually solve that problem. So now we have a call center that can kind of field that, solve the problem, hopefully on the phone, if not escalate it through tier 2 and then to us. So
that's a franchise model.
That's a franchise model.
All that makes sense, especially when you're talking about high tech stuff that, that's not something you can just kind of pull out of thin air, right? You need years of R&D and, the research.
Well, yeah, the call center is great because he doesn't have to sit on the phone and try to walk Daisy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes perfect sense to me.
The other thing is we do have the top tier vendor support. So the Lutrons, the Snap AVs, the customers that use our products, we have access to their top engineers on demand. So that helps us resolve some of the issues quickly.
And I'm sure your pricing is probably better than if you were coming as just one shop, right? It's a whole huge group of nationwide franchisees.
Well, we're competitively
priced. And,
yeah, we do get, there are the standard pricing models that, the vendors do set out there. But for us, we have, diamond level buying power. Mm-hmm. So as an independent dealer, I'm able to take, some savings there, apply it to, the resources that we are now buying from Daisy. One other thing that I think, and it's something that's gaining a lot of traction. I had another company that I call it a convergence of technologies. And we might be able to get to that. We had cable television and data and the internet. Well, before the 80s, they were two separate entities, and now they're one. They're basically digital plants. Same thing is going on now with electrical, high voltage electro, and even though it says low volt, they really have been two distinct companies that did those services. But Daisy Sarasota, we now are fully licensed electricians, so we're able to be that one-stop shop, whereas a lot of our competitors are not. And that's a trend that's going to continue. We just got back from CEDIA, and I talked to a lot of the, CEDIA is the home automation or technology integrators national convention. And what I saw was a lot more electricians coming through. So we're going to start seeing that trend.
Is that part of your business model? Do you run the electric for the entire house on a new construction? If you're going to, you could take on both?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing that kind of got us going in that way is lighting control. Yeah. We do all the programming, we deliver the products, we size it up, but the piece that was missing for us is the high volt side, and we have to have partners that understand the technology, want to be a part of the technology. Sometimes we weren't able to achieve those goals with current electricians. So it's been something on my business model for the last couple of years to do that. And we've got a lot of traction so far.
Now, how does that work with the franchise? Do you still run that part of the business if you're running the electric through Daisy?
That's the beautiful part of the franchise. It's a loosely coupled corporation. So we were the second franchise hired by Daisy, and things like what I'm talking about now is what attracted them. Is like, okay, Mark, you've been in the business for a while. You see what's going on. You see the trends. We want you to help us model the company or provide input, for the future and future branch owners. And, it's like everything else. I mean, it's partly a political process, but I think after the CEDIA, a lot of folks at the corporate and Daisy corporate are starting to look at that. As endorsed feature of Daisy Corporate right now, or Daisy. It is not something that they advertise, but I think that will change over the next year. And again, we're on the front of that too.
I see. So they're being selective about who they partner with.
Absolutely.
In terms of doing this expansion the right way.
You have to be vetted. You go through a qualifying process. Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. So what, we kind of mentioned it before, you're 50-50 residential, commercial. Could you break down what the most common things are people hire you for, both on the residential side and on the corporate side?
Okay. On the residential side, listen, everyone needs TVs, right? So video is probably the number one thing, whether it's a 100-inch TV now or your 85 and the different types of technologies that are out there. A new technology that is kind of coming from the commercial world is SMD micro displays. They're basically little panels that you assemble to create a bigger display. So case in point, you go down the road and see those billboards. That is SMD micro technology displays. It's bright. You can do it outside. The price point with a projection system is still, a little bit high, but you have basically you can build any size television you want out of these micro panels. So that's a piece that's evolving. I would say probably bread and butter is surveillance. Everybody wants to be security. Those are the first two things. Hey, I got a wife and kids. I want to know when people are coming up the driveway, and the video surveillance has now got with AI and analytics built in it. So literally, it can identify a dog, it can identify a car, a person, and send you notifications. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm. So that's been big. As a matter of fact, we had one customer in the commercial space recently made the news. They had people breaking into the pools, and we just installed an AI type camera system, and they were about ready to go hire a company to watch the monitors. And I said, well, you got a little genie built into that thing right now. So we showed him how to use the technology to basically identify people, then turn on the lights. So we've got them on film. Into the pool, lights come on, their eyes open up, and the audio system starts telling them, you're trespassing on private property.
Put your clothes on. Get out of my pool.
Okay. Absolutely. And, notification is sent to security guy. He can jump on it, look at it, and talk. Same thing.
Right.
So that's definitely something that's being used a lot.
That's a big deal. All these people who like to hop condo pools out on Siesta Key, your days are numbered. AI is coming.
Right.
What other ways are AI making its way into your business?
Well, the biggest thing is definitely the security part of that. We're starting to see more development tools coming out that utilize the AI instead of having to tell it to draw me a living room, 4x8 by 10, put these finishes on. Our CRM with the Daisy is starting to be powered by AI, so I can say, hey, give me all the customers that have bought a particular product. Between so-and-so and so-and-so. So instead of having to go hunt and finding all the information in our CM, literally it will present that to himself. So kind of on the design side, I would say the biggest thing is in the surveillance space and the video analytics. That's where I'm seeing the big impact.
What are some of the hot items in the food industry for AI?
Ordering. Yeah, scheduling, projecting, a lot of projecting stuff. Yeah.
So kind of more on the business side than rather than
inventory.
There's no real way to easily automate, like bring me my burger cooked pink and not no pink, right?
I wouldn't be interested in it.
Yeah. Well, I heard there's a robotic firearm, though.
All right, I'm glad you brought that up because that's the next big thing. Even we're actually putting that on our vehicles, and we're in talks with, of course, some of those companies putting it. And I joked about it a year ago. I said, watch it. We're going to be doing the robots, and that certainly is on Daisy's radar.
What does that robot look like?
Well, they're about that big. They fight each other.
Rock'em sock.
Well, it can come in this form as simple as your Roomba. That you can mow the lawn, or more general purpose robots. But the thing about it is, somebody's got to service them. You got to support them. They don't just turn them on. And just like every other piece of electronic, from time to time, they may need a little little upgrade, or
Yeah.
who knows? We could be the one
Little
that
tune-up.
have to wrangle them back when things don't go right.
I'm glad you mentioned that, and that you mentioned the Roomba, because I think people look at especially some of the tech that you guys do and they say, oh, that's for some large mansion that has all this complicated surveillance. But actually, this, like I was saying earlier, this stuff is trickling down into everyday people's lives.
It's going to be here like
and the Roomba
that.
is probably the best example, because that makes your life easier. I mean, you got a constant vacuum going around. That's great. But the only issue with that is technology is involved in so much of our lives now. How do we keep that safe? Like, what about the hacking? Like,
Yeah, that's really an ongoing thing. Let's just face it. We're giving up convenience for privacy and security. I think we're kind of beyond that point, and you have to try to take safeguards. Obviously, change your passwords. Follow the directions on, not keeping things open. But it's kind of like the viruses. The same thing in computer. They'll create new ones, and there'll be someone to chase them down and knock them out. But it's an ongoing thing. I don't think we can be 100% secure against all penetrations of technology and hacking out there. But you can take steps to kind of limit yourself and expose yourself. And it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off between having convenience versus your privacy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic trade-off between it's liberty and security, right? The more free we are, the more the more security, less security we have.
Ben Franklin said you deserve neither.
Right. Well, he said lots of things. But no, that's so. So is that a big concern for your new customers? I would think for your commercial clients, it is especially.
Well, we follow, like I said, the guidelines of when we set the things up. One of the things we do is in our process is we go through a final audit. So as we go through the final audit, we'll be sure that things are secured. We'll set the routers up, try to keep it up to date so that we don't get any attacks. It's just as good as the next hack. Yes, there is concerns. We do the best we can. It is somewhat a liability, but it's the world we live in.
What do you think is the next big thing that's coming to the automation industry? I mean, I think we teased it a bit on the pre-show, but I think that's something everybody is interested to learn. So we're having a great time getting to know Mark Peterson, branch manager of Daisy of Sarasota, and all the great things about automation in the home and the business. If you'd like to get to know him and his business a little bit better, stay tuned for rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer.
Hi, my name is Mark Peterson. I am the branch owner of Daisy Sarasota, and this is Rapid Fire.
10 random questions. 10 specific answers. Nothing off limits. This is Rapid Fire, fueled by food and beer. Everybody's got a nickname. What's yours?
No.
Alrighty then. Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Do you have any deal breakers?
Dishonesty, bad character.
If you could change your first name, what would you change it to? My top favorites are Felipe, Trey, Brad, I don't know.
Michael.
Good strong name. What do you like more? Comedies or action?
Action.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Besides eating 4 Big Macs in a half hour, what Guinness Book of World Record do you think you could break?
World's fastest driver.
I feel the need for speed.
Would you rather have a third eye or third ear?
Third ear.
What's your craziest impulse buy? Mine was a restaurant.
Craziest impulse buy.
Well, we're waiting.
A race car.
If you're stranded on a deserted island, would you rather be with your worst enemy or just be by yourself?
I'd say by myself.
So, Mike, we just had rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer. What's new in your world?
Hey, you know what? Football's back. So on Thursdays, we have 89-cent wings. That's a big deal. Sundays, we've got brunch, football. We're working on a new location in Wesley Chapel. And other than that, a lot of food, a lot of beer.
Cannot argue with that one bit. I enjoy the location in Rosemary very much, as you know.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite night to go?
Ooh, that's a tough one, man, because I like Burger Monday a lot, but this new wing thing, I feel like the wing thing is newer than the burgers. That's a great night, too.
Later in the weekend, it has football, so Thursday.
Well, now it has football, right?
Yeah.
So 89-cent wings and football.
We're Thursday guys now.
Thursday, big Thursday.
All right, see you guys on Thursday.
We'll be there. So, Mark, we were asking you before the break what was new in your world. We kind of got distracted by our wonderful friends at Food and Beer. But
well, I'll tell you what, that's probably a lot more interesting subject. But
the people want to hear about this automation.
Actually,
stuff.
Mark, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Are you a drum guy or are you a flap guy?
Flap.
All day. Good man.
I feel like every wing enthusiast is. I'm pretty equal.
You're a drum guy.
You know, I like.
I knew it.
I knew it.
He's also probably a ranch guy.
No, blue cheese. Blue cheese all day. I like the thickness. I like the thickness.
I have to admit, I'm the ranch guy.
Oh, ranch is only good with the pizza. Yeah. All right. Blue cheese with the wings. Anyways, back to our program.
So I think people would be very curious to know what's new. We talked a little bit about what you do for your home and business customers. A lot of security, a lot of video, TV stuff. What's new and coming up next in your world?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, I told you, the communication. That's going to change. Everyone, let's just face it, they're not big fans of the cable companies. So they're looking for a new beginning. And the cellular folks are going to put out a new technology. They're actually rolling it out now. It's just not out there. It's called 5G ultra wideband. And what that does, these are the things that are going to make your cars autonomous. The latency on that is very, very low. It's 2 milliseconds. I mean, it's almost instantaneous, and the speeds that is going to far surpass cable. So not only customers can benefit from those speeds, and the ability once the tower's up and doing it, it services everybody as opposed to having to lay fiber and cable.
Now, would that take the place of Wi-Fi as well?
Well, yes and no. It could. A lot of times that you still have your Wi-Fi in your system. And it's just like a cable router. You just change it from a cable router to a cellular router.
So that the router is going to pull in the wide 5G signal.
And redistribute
right, and then redistribute it via the Wi-Fi to all your devices.
You can just think you're unplugging the cable, and this is, you may have
cut the cord.
Cut the cord.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Uh-oh.
Heard this.
Cut the cord. Matter of fact, yeah, that's definitely one of our campaigns. Cut the cord. And you replace it with the cellular. Now, the reason you want your Wi-Fi is because you still want your printers to work. You want everything connected in your home together. Plus, you have the benefit of the router kind of being the guard dog of your network. Yeah. But it doesn't mean just like your cell phone, you'll still get the cellular signal in there. But more importantly is, as I talked to you about, is the autonomous cars. I mean, they're going to need to start communicating. Right now they use the video.
Can you break down what autonomous car means?
Autonomous car is a driverless car or a driver with a robot.
And the idea is that the one car will talk to the other one so they don't crash into each other?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I envision is you'll probably start seeing special lanes to get into the autonomous lane. That's just a prediction, but
and all the gas guzzlers like Felipe over in the far left.
They had him driving around in Atlanta when I was there.
Oh, really?
There's like nobody in the car.
Yeah,
there's cameras all over the car, and there's just drive by.
It's all video based.
Yeah, Vegas,
nobody in the car. A lot of people
Vegas
on the
has
street.
them. Phoenix, Arizona has them. But I think the big thing that distinction you're making is the nature of the system, right? I'm familiar with this. I had a Tesla, right? Video-based system versus what you're talking about, which is new.
Right.
Right now, they're all either video
they're all talking
or
to each
LiDAR,
other.
right?
LiDAR. Right now, you have every car talking. Again, you talked about the privacy and security. Well, you've given up another little piece of your private world to the cloud, and your car is now plugged into the cloud, and somebody else besides you is in control.
Yeah.
So then you got who else is in control beside the computer, and then it goes on and on and on.
So you're saying cellular could be safer?
cellular will be safer in the end. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. The other thing we talked about is lighting. Lighting is changing. No longer we're going to have the incandescent, fluorescent lights or, the CFL lights. Right now it's tape lighting, LED. You can tune your whites to what they call different colors of temperature. So I like, in the evening time, a more of a softer color. During the day, I might want it a little brighter. So you'll be able to adjust those things. There's always the multicolor.
So you kind of
your personal home from 1 to 10. How smart is your personal home?
Well, it's just like everybody else doesn't want to drag to work home. But
but I would say the mechanic's car.
So that's one to be worked on.
I would say I'm in the middle of the road. Okay. I draw the line a bit. I do this work every day. I love doing it for the folks, but I'm not a power user. I don't, I got to tune down a little bit. But yeah, I do have smart lighting. I do have automation on my audio and the video, but I don't have every gadget, every tool out there. Now, you talk to some of my techs. Boy, they got to have everything.
They got the home network that's all blinged out with all the.
Oh my God! They find a new technology, got to have it.
Some people just like playing with that stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Or like you were saying earlier, the control.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the lighting. Is the lighting going to be dynamic? Is that the idea? Like you said, it would change throughout the day.
Yes.
With some of the newer systems.
Absolutely.
Is there ever going to be a time where we're going to get away from fixtures and just have like rooms that are just lit? Like by panels or something?
Possibly. Right now, it is all driven by the LED, liquid. Light
emitting diode.
Yes. Right. And right now, one of the coolest things I saw was you've walked into some vanities and you see they're lit from underneath, right?
Yeah, I like that shit.
All right. Well, there is a company that put a video processor on there. So, and he had fish swimming through his sink on the rocks. I thought that was the coolest thing. I mean, that was instead of just having it lit, well, they're LEDs and they have different colors. So it was a mini TV in a sense.
Sounds pretty trippy.
It was trippy.
So it was lit and it was lit.
So I already know where Trey's going with this. Trey, you're building a pool, right?
Yes.
So he's going to it's going to go green. There's going to be somebody flexing in the bottom. No?
And a few lizards swimming through it.
Please do not give him these ideas.
Okay, so Trey, you come to me and you say, look, I got a pool. What can I do with it? Okay, we talked about the different colors, but I can get you an underwater sound system. They're called transducers. And water is a much better conductor of sound than the air is. I mean, if you jumped into one of the things, it'd be like you're listening to the New York Philharmonic. It is
Tom Petty.
It is Tom Petty, whatever it might be. Or how about Jaws? Play that for something.
So under the water, the music
it is so clear.
And you could have a shark down there.
And a shark via light.
So is the idea that it's playing like outside the music?
You can't hear it
under
outside.
the music.
Well, you can. Sure, absolutely.
You got both, so when you go into the water, you get.
But you cannot hear the sound outside.
Well, I can only hold my breath for like 30 seconds, so I can only.
You just get a tank and hang out down there and tell the wife I'll be up with Tom Petty's.
Yeah. So kind of speaking of pie in the sky ideas about Trey's pool, what are some of the cooler, like, over-the-top projects that you've done, both on the commercial or residential side?
Let me try to think a bit. I told you about.
You told us about the artwork.
The artwork. We had one fella, and this was many years ago. He had some kids that were autistic, and he had a huge house. He wanted to know where they were at any moment. So we took some off-the-shelf RFID stuff, puts the signals out, can identify radio signals, and we put mini cells throughout the house. So when they would go from one room to the other, the system would know where they were. So we took that, we wrote some programs, then could translate words like, okay, child one is in the living room, child one is now in the family room. So he could hear all through the place where his kids were. And that was kind of over the top at the time because nothing existed like that. There were commercial RFID readers. We wrote some code to talk to them and give the signals, and then took those signals and then converted them into speech and then broadcast them over the audio system. So that was pretty slick.
So that's one thing that probably separates you. You're not just somebody out there like Geek Squad selling people, cameras and putting them in.
No.
Right? You're coming up with these bespoke solutions when the application calls for it and manipulating the tech.
Absolutely. Yeah, at the beginning we talked about, the interview process. We have a process from conception to acceptance. And part of that process is getting to know you a little bit better, come up with, what is it what are your goals out of this? We throw some things up the wall, we show it. So we narrow a scope down to, this is our statement of work that we start with. Now that I've never had a job where I started with a statement of work, it was exactly the same at the end. So we're engineers, we're integrators. I got a great team of techs out there, designers. Yeah, we think outside the box. We put solutions together based on technology. So, technology management, engineers, design, implementation, support. Started all over again when we finished because it's a never-ending process.
Would love to talk more about your background and kind of how you got to Sarasota, and then we have some Sarasota-based questions too. So I understand you originally had a company in the broadband space.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Prior to coming down here, now it's probably one of the reasons I came down here, like everybody else, just trying to find a new beginning. But I grew up with the internet. I'm not an Al Gore. I didn't invent it, but I was there pretty much with him. I was actually put the 213th machine on the internet. At that time, it was called the ARPANET. There was no internet, and when things were a lot different back then.
What year was this roughly?
About 1985.
Wow,
Great year.
Yeah. Let me ask you, were you born
85.
85?
Earlier than that.
Okay.
Slightly earlier than that.
Okay.
But not as early as Felipe.
At the time, the big things were
Felipe beat me.
At the big time then, it was a fax machine. I mean, so you can think about how far things have come. So I knew about the internet, and I was hired by another company called Sun Microsystems, which at that time was probably
Up in Boston, right?
No, they were out in California in San Fran. It was actually it was a project that came out of Berkeley, but that gave me the opportunity to really get involved with the internet because they were cutting edge. Matter of fact, if you were involved with the internet, you had a Sun Microsystems machine, and I was an engineer, so I learned a lot about it. So I was with them for a while, and I kept saying, "This internet, man, this is going to be big." And then when the web came out, no one even knew, we were like the first people being in the position at Sun to see what the World Wide Web was about. And I said, this is a game changer. And I also knew, I was a networking guy, so I knew about broadband technology, cable plants, and it just dawned on me one day, sitting at a friend's house, and I looked up and I said, wow, there are big pipes coming into these homes that nobody's using. And so I went down to my local cable company. I talked my way into the cable head end there and said, listen, I got a great idea. This thing called the internet. I think that this is going to be a game changer for the cable industry. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can actually transmit a piece of the internet over your cable plant. So we took some off-the-shelf broadband cards, literally, and we got them hooked up to, he gave me a channel. We took a channel. That's where my company, Compact Communications, give me a channel, and let's put the internet on it. At that time, the reverse path was there, but nobody ever used it. So lo and behold, we got the scope out, and we were like, I don't know, probably about 5-10 miles away. And there was no cell phones back then. So literally, we had to go to a house where I'm up on a pole trying to get the thing tuned, and we got it tuned, and we transmitted our first signals over a cable plant. And that was revolutionary back then. And I said, it works. I think we need to do something with this. So against the advice of my dad, when I just bought a house, I said, I'm quitting, and I'm going to start a company to transform cable plants into internet broadband plants. Whew. Really? Really, you're going to do that? I said, yes, I got to do this, Dad. So long story, jump forward, went out to the NCTA show. I was the only guy showing the internet at a cable show, but I had a blast. I didn't know cable was so much fun. I met Chris Berman, I met the Angels. Of course, you had the adult booths with lovely ladies there, so got to meet them.
Playboy.
Yeah, Playboy. So I was a new world for me, and everyone was coming around and saying, "What is that? What is this?" I said, "This is going to change your life." I was picked up that night by the largest cable company at that time, TCI, and they handed me $1 million contract, and I said, "Wow, it's going to happen." So they flew me out to California, and it was just me in my basement at that time.
Where did you start this business?
Out of Northern Virginia.
Okay.
And my first job was San Francisco. So got a team together. We went out there, hired some broadband folks, grew that company in 10 years, 300%. We had 17 offices in the end, and we turned over a lot of cable plants. They told me, I only had 5 customers. They told me, you have to service any zip code in America. And okay. Unfortunately, there was something called a bubble. I was not a businessman. I was more of an entrepreneur. I found out real fast what a bubble was. Unfortunately, in 2001, with the dot bomb, everything came to a grinding halt.
Right, all the money that would have been invested in that transformation was sucked out by other problems.
It just stopped. I should have seen it coming. The smart guy would have said, "Hey, I see Cisco prices dropping. We're not getting new orders." And it would happen pretty quick. So as fast as we grew, we turned around and started, downsizing, trying to meet demand. But it was pretty much the end. So fast forward again, part of our business plan, as I told you before, since we're building these broadband plans, what can the people use off these broadband plans? What do the people in the home, what can businesses use? And that was kind of our final segment. So I just took that piece, dusted off the shoulders, said I'm going to Florida where everybody else goes when they want a new beginning. Came to Florida and started a company called Digital Homes. And that was about 2004. So that's when I started focusing on the end pieces there. That's when the smart home started coming in. So, this is it. This is where we're going to end up.
That makes sense because a lot of our industries around here are tied to home building and real estate development, right? And that particular piece of technology, I would think, relies heavily on that, right? New people coming down here, setting up homes.
Absolutely.
So that's part of what attracted you to the area.
Do custom home builders drive a lot of your business currently?
They do, but we're diversified. The commercial space, I've got three or four categories. You've got the high-end luxury. We've got our commercial. We got in the direct-to-consumer, which where Daisy brings in a lot. That's where a lot of their focus is as well. Let's do after the fact you've built a home, can we do the TV, sound bars, the Ring type doorbells, things like that. But most of the companies that are affiliated with Daisy now definitely are on the front end as well. So those are kind of the 3 areas of the 3 markets that we're looking at. And in there, if you want to segment out one more, is the multi-dwelling areas.
Very cool. So it makes sense that you're here since we've got the building boom. I mean, I think they say Northport's the fastest growing city in America. Something like that.
Are you just in Sarasota? Are you a couple different markets, or?
Well, we go where our customers going. We have a problem saying no sometimes. Depends on how much money.
But in terms of your agreement with Daisy, though,
it's pretty much Bay to Bay right now. Tampa Bay to Charlotte Bay. There's other Daisy affiliates: Fort Myers, Naples, Palm Beach area, Orlando. So, Ocala, and we're probably within Daisy. The California might be the biggest state with the number of franchisees. Florida certainly number 2. The New England area.
Did you say you were the second franchisee?
We were the second franchise.
And how many total now?
22.
Oh, cool.
22. Their goal is hundreds. I mean, these folks, they're the ones that built Terminex, Mary Maid, ProServe. So they bring a lot of the franchise experience to the table, and I will have to agree that this industry, this industry is ready for it.
So Terminex, private equity?
Right now it is, yes.
Yeah, no, because when I heard Terminex, I know that's a big play. Mm-hmm. That is.
That's what they do. They build it, possibly take it public. Maybe someone will buy it out. But yeah, they're venture capital people that start big processes and big franchises.
Think big. All right, so Our friends over at Tom and Air Law and Trey Martell want to know, what are your thoughts on roundabouts popping up around Sarasota? Do you love them or do you hate them?
I actually like them.
Tell me why.
Well, I actually know how to drive them.
Oh.
And I can get in and out fast. For the people that don't know how to drive them, they really screw us up. No, I do like. My wife hates them. Probably most of the people hate them. But
From what you're saying about
What demographic would you say has trouble with roundabouts?
I'm not going there.
Tourists.
his customers, that's the answer to that question. All the people
That's a good question.
that are setting up home automation. So, but I mean, we talked about self-driving cars as part of the tech. I mean, I would think self-driving cars could solve this roundabout issue, right?
It could. I think that you definitely need them all talking to each other because I'm not sure the video processing. That's a good question. That's a good test. I would say let's get an autonomous vehicle, set them loose on a circle, see what
Right on that one by St. Armand's. Good fucking luck.
Let's do it.
iRobot.
You know, one of the reasons you've seen the show before, one of the reasons we ask about roundabouts is it's a fun way to ask about growth and change in Sarasota. We're relatively pro-growth in this podcast because we all have businesses that rely on growth, and it seems like you do too.
Absolutely.
Do you want to talk to us about how you've seen Sarasota change and how you feel about the growth?
Well, I've been coming here a long time. I'd say since the 80s. My parents had a place down here and just come here all the time. I mean, it was my favorite place. It still is my favorite place to come. I got mixed feelings. I do like the charm. It's Siesta Key was a fishing village with a drinking problem. Well, it's a drinking problem with a fishing problem. So
Right now, that's the same.
It's starting to lose some of that old Florida charm, but I am on the growth side because that is certainly something that feeds me, my family, my business. But I don't see it really slowing down. I mean, if you go out 64 and towards the racetrack, or it's still going out there.
They're building.
Yeah, but that's funny because that's the one thing when people complain about too many people being here and they're sitting on Siesta Key. It's not Siesta Key. It's all that stuff that we're building out there and people hopping in the car for 30 minutes and coming to Siesta Key.
Yeah, Siesta Key was already built.
Right. So, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of silly to me. I beat that horse all the time on this podcast whenever I hear people complaining about, traffic on Siesta Key.
Well, I came from...
The big complaints are traffic and flooding.
Well, the flooding is different. I think that's more of an infrastructure problem. Actually, we didn't ask you about that.
Brought on by growth.
Yeah,
I'm pro-growth.
Amongst other things, right? But we didn't ask you about that. I mean, it is hurricane season. Are there things that you guys do in your business that you think people rely on or could help during hurricanes?
Well,
and what about the concept of power use in terms of automation?
Okay, I mean, a couple of things. Obviously, we can't stop the hurricane. We can't stop the flooding. Although there are some things that I've seen that the inflatable walls that can bring those things. I'm not sure if that falls under the home technology part of that. But as far in terms of power, being an electrician, we are a Tesla Powerwall dealer.
Nice.
So that's a technology that has to be done right. You have to have a way to charge the batteries. I mean, it really depends on what your goals are. Obviously, if you want to do energy management or storage management for days on end, you got to have a lot of batteries. You need a solar array to kind of keep them charged up, or a smaller generator or something. But if you're the guy that just, I'm not worried, but I just want to keep everything running while there's an hour or two of power outage, or there's a variable rates, so you can store the energy and use it off your battery during the peak periods, and then run off the grid at the low periods.
So like a grid optimization play where you're always spending the money when it's cheapest.
Right. Now there is a payback. It is when you calculate it is out there. It's 20, 30 years. So, I mean, are you willing to put that much, if you're going to be dedicated to that, then you're going out that far. There are some new battery technology coming. I think it's based on aluminum that will provide better efficiencies. It's still early on, but I do think that is definitely a viable option. And, the thing about it's clean energy. So you don't have to, have your 35 kW generator out there burning diesel. So if you're conscious about the environment, that's the way you're harvesting the sun. So there's definitely advantages and pluses.
You familiar with, I think it's Bobcat Ranch down south? Because you guys said you covered down toward Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
The whole place, I hear, is just all wired up and automated and smart home. And it was built that way from kind of inception, so that when we've had outages during the hurricanes, they don't even go down.
Yeah, I have not seen that one, but I've seen others, yes.
I think that's a pretty cool way to do it.
I've seen communities build around a solar array and a battery storage unit, especially sometimes they can't get the power there. Or if they do, it just costs the feeders cost too much, and they say, hey, if I put this into a solar array and a battery storage unit, all 4 neighbors can then utilize it.
That's interesting too. Really cool. Any other interests outside of work? You said you've been coming here a long time. Are there any particular places you'd like to go in Sarasota?
I used to love the beach. I kind of, the sun kind of beat me back a bit. And I had to go and see the dermatologist, and then what they say, stay out of the sun. So the beach is kind of off limits. One of the things that, again, when we came down was kind of a new beginning. And there's some things was on my bucket list that, had always been on my bucket list, but it's always too busy to do that. And one of them was racing stock cars. So I found a guy that I helped out that had a short track car and helped him wrench it for a little bit. And the year after, I got one built, and back in 2004, and it took me about a year to get a championship. And I was out here at the old DeSoto track, which is now the Freedom Factory. And I've been doing it ever since.
Champion amongst us.
That's right.
Nice.
Very cool.
I will have to say that it's at a level now where it is very scientific. It's not just going out there and going in circles and wrecking everybody, and it takes time. People, you have to get the teams together. So we're a little behind in that this year, but next year is.
Is that an inexpensive hobby?
The class I'm in, probably for stock car racing, it's somewhat inexpensive. Until you what they call wad them up, and then it gets a little expensive.
Yeah,
we had a friend who's owns an elevator company and also is a race car driver,
Okay.
Grant Talkie, on previously very early in the podcast.
Okay.
They told us it was not a cheap hobby.
Well, if you're in the pro late models, the engines are 45,000.
Yeah,
I mean it's 100,000.
He's racing a Porsche 911 Cup car.
Okay, well that's the road racing. That can be even more expensive. Now ours is tubes that we weld together and stick a Chevy motor in and go out there and rubbing is racing.
Yeah, I think Grant retired from the racing and bought a boat.
Well, I had a boat and I had a race car. I couldn't keep both, so I told someone to come get the boat.
A lot of repairs.
Like, tell us how you feel about it, Mike. Okay. Any other closing remarks, or you want to plug any online presence you have, or where can people find you?
Sure, absolutely. Again, we're part of the Daisy franchise group. Our website is daisyco.com. /Sarasota-Florida. You can find more information about Daisy Sarasota. For those of you who haven't tried, give us a call. Check out the website. We have a very good process put in place. I think that you'd be happy with our techs. We're a wonderful group of people and can deliver any solution that you see fit for yourselves. Come and see us.
So anything from mounting a TV and a soundbar to a fully automated build out, everything.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you and telling your story.
Great stuff and a pleasure.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.